How we doing, guys? It's a pleasure to have you here. Welcome back to my channel. I am Floral Frequency, aka your Floral Father. But anyways, guys, straight to the point. Today, I'm going to walk you guys through one of my very own project files. I recently released a track called One For Me. It's a collaboration with my homie LEELAN. And I thought, just as a treat, bro, I hate when producers are hiding secrets or being all sus and secretive about their tips and tricks. Like, bro, I'm not doing any of that. I'm jumping straight into the project file. I'll play it for you guys so you can hear what it sounds like if you haven't listened to the track. Wow! Insert the anime wow sound effect. Wow! So let's go ahead and start with the drop drums right here. The drums is one of the most important elements of your whole track. I personally think if you have boring drums, you're gonna have a boring fucking track. I like to keep it unique. I like to sprinkle in a lot of percussions. I like to sprinkle in a lot of noise candy on the 4, the 8, every 4th bar pretty much. I like to do a nice little percussive turnaround or something that keeps moving the track forward. The element that stands out the most is the snares. And it's not your basic snare that's on every other kung kung kung, your basic snare. It's all the other snares that are happening to accent and complement your OG snare. In particular, these granulated snares right here and these turnaround snares, the horny snares, the horny snares because they're fucking sexy, and the snare fill. And even this fill, bro, it's just a bunch of snares sprinkled in to give it the groove and the rhythm that I was going for. But what I did to get these granulated snares is just that. I threw them in a granulator. If you've never used a granulator, it's such a magical tool, bro. It really is such a magical tool. Basically, you drag and drop any sample into the granulator. It's a Max for Live plugin. Command Option B gets rid of your browser. Quick little shortcut there in case you didn't know it. Command Option B opens the browser, gets rid of it. So what I did is I drag and dropped the snare sample into the granulator. So I have the track arm now. It's soloed. And if I just play. So with a granulator, it takes your sample and it chops it up into all these little grains, and the spray kind of controls how fast or how chopped up it gets. The file position, if I had a longer sample, you could choose where in the sample it plays. And then the grain. It's very random, so this is a lot of trial and error. A lot of trial and error goes into it. But if executed properly, you can get so many unique and amazing sounds. And this is something that a lot of big artists that I like Mura, Flume, something Bison, bro. I'll throw them up on the screen. They all use granulators to get those crazy effects in their tracks. And don't sleep on a granulator. But what I did to get those snares is if you go to this little drop-down menu and you choose what you want to resample, in this case, it was granulated snare that we have, boom. So whatever I play on this track is going to bounce into audio up here on this track. So let's go ahead and try it out. You have to have both of them record enabled, and let's go ahead and record. That was a little extreme. That was kind of how you say exaggerated. I exaggerated the effects and the parameters and stuff there, but I did that, and then I would go through the sample. Like that's kind of just a cool pattern right there. That got. That's a cool little section. That cut. So you could use that as like a fill for something. Command E if you highlight a section, and Command E, it chops that section out of the clip. So yeah, man, I went through my sample and I selected a bunch of little granulated sections like that, and then I sprinkled them in the actual track. Just cool little kind of beats and rhythms that I otherwise wouldn't really have thought of or come up with. So that's how I got this granulated snare. These snare fills, horny snares and snare fill, are also granulated snares. But these ones I did not make myself. These are actually from a pack called Sounds Like You in my Ableton shit. Ableton shit is my sound library. Sounds like, right here, Sounds Like You. And basically what this guy did is he just put a bunch of shit through a granulator and made 3 sample packs out of it. This guy has keys, drums, everything. Basically what we just did with the granulator and throwing drum samples in it, in our case a snare, he did the same thing and made a whole sample pack out of it. And so I took pieces from his sample pack that I really liked and I used them as fills. Also, Command Option L lowers this little clip viewer section where you mix and stuff. Another little ear candy thing I like to do with my drums is reverse kicks. I'll copy a kick, make another track, paste my kick, go down here, reverse it, and get rid of this first bit of transients. And then let's get rid of this one because I'm showing you guys how to do it. Basically, just zoom in and you line it up right before your kick, and so it gives you this nice little swoosh effect. And it gives you that nice little low end movement right before the boom, big kick comes in and punches you in the dick, bro. And I do this on my turnarounds. I'll do it right before the drop, and I'll also do it melodically sometimes in sections that I think need a nice little some movement or some action. Something needs to happen, you know? So see, like right here, that's cool how it goes kick, swish, kick, and you get that nice little something crazy there, bro. I have this kick glitch also from that Sounds Like You granulated sample pack, and it hits right here in the gap between these 2 kicks, so it kind of goes kick, glitch, kick, kick again. It's a granulated kick, but it more so just sounds like a glitch. Got this little sober snare from the Sober Rob sample pack. Just a little triplet, to give it some, again, movement, fill in some gaps. The hi-hats, I have a 16th hat and a quarter note hat. I have them panned 25 left, 25 right, so they sit in separate areas of the mix. Boom! That's the drums. We'll go ahead and play through it one more time, and you guys can take a look at what you need to. Now let's get into the nitty gritty, the melodics. And this is where, in my opinion, the key element of the track lays, and it would be this glitch effect that I have. It's this guy. Let me play the melodics all together so you can get a sense of what they sound like. Let's incorporate that with the drums. I took my chord progression, which is this chord progression that, if I'm being honest, I think I just used a MIDI pack right here, Rhodes pack, and it's just a bunch of MIDI loops and samples. I literally used this MIDI loop and I got rid of the little top line melody that it had, and I just used the chords. I'm pretty decent and pretty good at making chord progressions once I got a general knowledge of music theory and scales and stuff like that. But if you don't have that knowledge yet, A, learn it, but B, don't be afraid to use MIDI chord packs. It kind of gives you more flexibility and freedom to get straight into the creative aspects and chop it up and do whatever. There'd be a lot of times, especially when I was starting out, where I'd open a project and I'd be working on chords, and my whole 1 hour, 2 hours that I had put aside to produce was spent just making chord progressions, and I ended up not liking any of them. So if you are going through MIDI chord packs and you really love one, don't be afraid to use it. I took these chords and then I chopped these chords up and sprinkled them throughout the track. So this glitch is a resample of O. You could see right here that I resampled O, and if we go down to O, O is this. It's these two samples stacked together, or these two synths. I do a lot of my sound design like this. I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of my sound design is not spent in serum and shit. It's spent throwing a bunch of effects and resampling and more effects and resampling and warping and doing a lot of cool stuff and playing with some of the warp settings. This is the resample that we're about to do. And I have these O's, which is what I resampled. Let's go ahead and arm this track and hit record. We get rid of these. But that's basically what I did. I resampled, and then I would go in, get here nice and tight, take this little section. Let's say this is what I want to mess with. And let's move this all to the side real quick. Just work with this sample right here. What I would do is I would grab this sample. It's just that chord hit. I would hit Command J to consolidate it. And if you hit Shift and come up here to the top of the clip, you can stretch it actually. So I would stretch it, and you start to get, like, check this out. If we listen to the sample now, you get that nice little glitch in front of it. And that's if you keep it in beats mode. If you keep it in complex, you're gonna get that stereotypical stretched out kind of warped noise. But for this, I wanted to keep it glitchy. I think if you keep it in beats, it sounds cool as fuck. And I literally think that's what I used for this first one. Yeah, pretty much. I did this for every note. And you can even grab this that we stretched, Command J, and you can stretch it some more. I'll stretch like 2 or 3 times just to see what kind of cool shit I can get. And this is how I do a lot of my sound design. I'll just stretch shit out. I'll grab either a bass sample or a chord sample in this case. I'll resample some synths or something, and I'll just kind of stretch them out. Like, what the fuck, bro? That sounds cool. That complex sounds cool, bro. Let's make another audio track, because, like, I wouldn't do it in this track, but just to show you guys, like, we have this sample now. When I put it in complex, you can make some crazy bass noises out of that, bro. Let's put that through, like, an amp, like, distort the fuck out of it. That sounds crazy. It's got a lot of nasty frequencies, but I'm just messing around right now. Let's do like a, if you guys don't know this chorus preset, Yo Man, disgusting. Oh my God, bro. That shit is filthy already. That shit is filthy, bro. Smack some OTT on it. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I wasn't even trying to make a bass track, but I'm saying you can do so much resampling, just throw a couple effects on and get a completely different sound. This is the sound we were working with. And with a little bit of stretching and effects, we got this. Like, that's a nasty sound, bro. That's a nasty sound. If we were making a bass track, we could use this as one of our basses. We could use this tail end as an effect. We could do so much shit with this, bro. We could reverse this and see what that sounds like. Oh, that's fucking foul, bro. This is you. And this is the guy she told you not to worry about. That's how I got these glitchies. And I just did it for every chord. I chopped, I sprinkled, and I just went with what sounds good, bro, until I got my desired chord progression. Now, what's going on in these chords? I have a swell, which is just a serum preset. 2 sine waves, something super simple, super pretty. I use this a lot. If you listen to any Floral Frequency track from the past year, this is in it. These O's, again, this is, I believe, a cymatics pack. And then this is... What the fuck is this? Dark chord pluck as well. Wow. Did I use the same fucking pluck twice, bro? I did. Why did I do that? Hey, I don't even know. Usually if I do something like that, I'll pan them so they're somewhere different. But this appears to be the same thing twice. Whatever, bro. It worked. And then we got this whomp, which is just some sort of, yeah, this pluck sound. Lewis the Pluck. Just some shit I found on Splice. A lot of my projects rely on my arrangements. And I am a big advocate for having an interesting arrangement. It doesn't have to be super complex. It doesn't have to be super crazy, but something that's engaging and entertaining, bro. And I like to kind of start with my drums and then sprinkle in chords where there's no drum hits and then sprinkle in bass lines where there's nothing, bro. It's kind of like thinking outside the box. You start to get these weird rhythms you otherwise wouldn't if you just stuck to like, oh, my bass needs to hit on the 1 and my bass needs to hit here and here because this is what I learned in music score. This is what that guy taught me on YouTube. Like, fuck all of that. My favorite part about music is that there's no rules to this shit. You can do whatever you want. Obviously, some things are going to sound better than other things, and some decisions you're gonna make are going to be more beneficial than other decisions you make. If it sounds cool, do it. That's my advice to you. This is like this nice little vocal synth, and then this ARP. This ARP is super easy to make. I'll jump into that for y'all, but let's listen to the vocal synth and the ARP. It's kind of like a call and response. Hey, 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 poo, 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 poo. Call, response. It's a wavetable. You can bring the wave up to right here to 80 is what I had it at. And 80 is right in between a saw and a square. So you get this kind of saw square, a squaw. You get this squaw wave. And then if you go to the amp envelope, I made it kind of plucky. You know, I brought this decay time in a little bit. Not even that much, 500 milliseconds. I brought it in to get a kind of like a pluck, but not like a doom, like a very transient super pluck, just kind of like a nice, soft, floaty kind of sound. And I duplicated it to get this one, panned it 25 left, 25 right. So it kind of just hugs you in the mix when it's playing. It's not completely mono. It's kind of on the sides when you listen to them, and it feels like in the stereo field, it's giving you a nice big warm hug from both angles, or it's gangbanging you from both sides, bro. Just took out the lows. OTT. I EQ'd out the highs because this did get very resonant in the highs. So I went at like 16K complete, just brick wall cut. I have this reverb. This is a reverb I just bought recently, and I've been using it a lot on vocals for other tracks. But I was like, fuck it, dude, let's try it out. I mean, I bought it, might as well use it, right? And this is a trick I want to show you guys. If you have trouble with your mixes where they sound a little too muddy, or a lot of elements are getting stacked on top of each other, so some things aren't popping out as clear as you want them to, or it just sounds too muddy. Whenever sound's not fucking playing, or you don't need it to play, cut it out completely. I do this on almost every single one of my tracks. Let's jump into automation mode, and let's go to the utility. And I have the gain here. The minute this ARP stops, I want it gone. I don't want any of the excess reverb going. I don't want to hear any delays. I don't want to hear anything about the ARP. The ARP shows up, it has its moment, and it gets the fuck out of the mix, bro. And I do this with everything. Like, I'm sure I did it with this vocal too. Yes, I did. Boom. Vocal shows up, it's gone. Lets the ARP hit, that's gone. Lets the rest of the beat progress. And let's hear it in unison, because it's going to go, that's going to cut out. No reverbs, no delays, no nothing. Straight into the ARP, that's going to cut out, and let the rest of the beat have its moment to shine and ride out. All together, our drums with our melodics. And now we get to the good stuff. The bass. This dirty sub is the key element that I have going on in the bass. It just adds, it takes my beautiful glitchy track and just gives it so much filth, but it doesn't bombard you with filth. It's not this nasty bass track that the whole thing is nasty bass. It's just sprinkled in ever so lightly, ever so slightly. Sometimes it becomes the bass line. Sometimes it becomes just an accent. It's a preset I made. Basically, what makes it dirty is this sound and the effects, just distortion driven almost all the way up, bro. Just a tube distortion. If we take this off, the sound is gone, bro. The sound is gone. Let's go here. It mainly just sounds like white noise, but you throw this distortion on it, bro. Ew. Obviously, I have this noise. And this is a basic mini. This is just a basic sign you can get in here, bro. Analog. Where we at? Basic mini. And got this boy. A little hack. I wouldn't even say it's a hack, but this is something that took me a while to understand. But once I wouldn't even say mastered it, but once I started incorporating it into my productions just kind of leveled the fuck up. And basically what I would do in older tracks is I would use one bass. I would use like a sub bass, and I would use that sub bass for all the bass elements of my track. Or I would use an 808, but I would use that 808 for everything. And what I started incorporating, especially in my house music, that's going to come out a little later on this year, is using up to like 3 or 4 different bass presets, samples, whatever. Like, I was like, I want more bass sounds and more variety in my track. So that's what I got going on here. I got 3 different bass sounds. I've got an 808 for that thump, that like dunk dunk, that kind of knock. I got a regular sub, a little distorted, bro. I use the hip hop sub bass. Anytime I'm using a sub bass, I use the hip hop sub bass, and I'll mess around with the distortion amount. I have it at half here. But that's my favorite sub bass. Like, you can't beat it. It's a go-to. Just literally go to your browser, type in hip hop, and it's gonna be in your operator, bro. Bass, hip hop, sub bass. Boom. So easy. And then this dirty ass sub is a preset I made, which is just a really, really distorted sub. So you have your sub on the 1 that matches up with this chord here. And then you have this, which you have this glitch happening. So then I have this doon doon. Like, what? That sounds so crazy already, bro. It's the first bar of the fucking drop, and it already sounds so crazy with 3 different basses happening and then like 3 different chord sounds. That's insane, bro. What the? I was smoking crack when I made this, for real. This nasty ass dirty distorted one is kind of being used in sections where nothing's happening in the track. Like, let's look up here. Ain't nothing going on in this section of the track. So I use this to fill that space as a nice little accent. Same right here, this do. Ain't nothing happening here, bro. Empty. And this is what I mean, especially when I'm making bass lines. I like to insert bass hits when nothing's fucking happening. And you'll see that you'll get some cool grooves if a kick hits and then a bass, or a chord hits and then a bass, or the song just goes kind of boom and then just all bass. Kind of like here, bro. That's what I did. In this fill, this turnaround, I don't have no crazy nasty drums or anything. I have some effects and this extended bass, bro. Like, I want to give you that grit. I want it to be felt. I want you to bump this in your car and be shaking, getting a massage, my guy. Nothing is happening when these nasty accents happen. So again, it lets it shine through the mix. It's the whole, for this one brief second of time, all your focus, all your attention is on this guy. It's having its moment to shine. Nothing really plays at the same time in my tracks. Like, because I like to give everything its own space. This is something that's interesting and cool that I did right here. I started playing around with different bass lines for the second half of the drop. This is the second half of the drop here. And I ended up getting this cool sound where it sounds like it's glitching on and off. Like the track is like rebooting or resetting, and then it continues right here. And then the track kind of glitches out, reset, reboot, reset, reboot, reset, and then the track continues. They're accompanied by just a kick. And this is what I mean by arrangement. Basically, the biggest ways to make your tracks more interesting are just having interesting drums and interesting arrangements. They don't have to be the most complex things, but just get creative with them. Don't have a fucking sub bass that's, for example, where's my sub? Don't have a sub bass that just, like, this is a boring bass line right here. If it's just all extended, like, nah, get creative. Incorporate another bass. See what kind of weird bass lines you can make. See what gaps you can fill. And you're going to get a lot of interesting and creative sounds and noises. Normal, reboot. Normal, with the hats and the drums and everything. Normal, rebooting. Normal, let's incorporate all the drums and the elements. Let's see what's actually happening in the bass altogether. I just have a bass mono at 131 hertz. This is just a utility, bro. This is a preset as well. Bass mono, utility, bass mono. Drag that on. And basically everything from 131 hertz under is going to be right up the center of the stereo field. It's not going to have any spread. It's not going to be any stereo imaging. It's going to be mono as hell. And then I have this LFO tool because that's how I sidechain with my kick. That was already cool, but I was like, if I'm going to release this, I need something that like catches the attention a little more. It's so crazy as a music producer. You can have all these bells and whistles and ear candy and all these crazy elements that you resampled, you threw through a granulator, you did all this, and you can still get to that point and be like, I need something that grabs their attention more. But as humans, nothing grabs your attention more than the voice of another human. I think vocals are always a great addition to any track, especially in EDM, bro, because it makes the track more memorable. Instead of being like, oh, do you know that track that's like, boom, doo-goom, Like, nobody's gonna explain your track like that. But if they're like, oh, you know that track that's like, one for me, yeah, yeah, you're the one for me, and then they'll be like, oh, you mean one for me, and be like, yeah, you know that track, yeah, I love that track. That a listener is always gonna remember a vocal sample in your track better than just having to be describing a track by the sounds that they hear, you know? So I grabbed this sample off a Splice, and when I tell you I didn't do nothing to it, I used it booty bone naked, bro. I just cut out some lows, and this is the sample I did, and I chopped it up. When I tell you guys I did not make this track around the sample, I dragged the sample into the track, and it just kind of worked out perfectly. I didn't fuck with the sample at all too much. Like I said, I didn't even process it, bro. I just threw it in the track, chopped it. I don't even think I chopped it, bro. That's where it hits. I got rid of the reverb. That's literally where it hit. You're the one. I just grabbed some shit, chopped it up, consolidated it, Command J, and yeah, got some cool things. I chopped it up like that because this sample is in time with the drums, that snare. They hit on the same beats to emphasize that glitchy effect, to emphasize the sporadicness of this track. And with that glitch, you guys remember this guy, this kick glitch. It goes kick, glitch, kick, glitch, 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 glitch with the vocal sample, and I'm sure the melodics are glitching the fuck out. Yeah, buddy, this one bar has like 3-4 glitches happening. Cool beans. I like that a lot. Smack me in the dick for saying cool beans, bro. I never want to say that shit again. This is kind of like the utility trick that I showed you earlier. This sample obviously had already reverbs and delays and shit built into it. You hear this? But I don't want any of that playing while the rest of my track is playing because it's not its turn. It's not your turn to be the star of the show anymore, vocal sample. So I cut it out while these elements play right here. So I don't have any weird muddiness or so nothing's taken away from the star of the show. This right here, nothing's fucking playing. Nothing's playing except this drum because this is the turnaround. This is the star of the show right here, so nothing's playing. Me. And now we have our whole track pretty much. That's the whole entire drop. Oh, let's get into these guys. This is cool, bro. This is cool right here. The whole theme of the track is kind of like this glitchy, dreamy TV soundscape kind of thing. So I literally have this TV noise and the effects on the turnarounds. You'll hear it here. And this white noise. This white noise, bro, I use it a lot as an effect in a lot of my tracks. And it's quite literally, bruv, quite literally just an operator with white noise. Nothing crazy. Now my track is in C major. So I don't know if you guys know this, but if you hit this little expander on the EQ8 and you start shifting around up here, in this little corner, it'll tell you right here what note you're cutting your frequency at. And since my shit is in C major, let's go to the 1. I cut it at a C because I don't want any low end really because I have that bass playing, that really distorted bass. So I cut it at C so it's in tune. If you cut it anywhere else, when you really start getting deep and nitty gritty into the science of white noise, bro, you can get a lot of tonal sounds and stuff. But I just cut it at C since my shit's in C major. And then I saturated my white noise to give it some sizzle. Let's see if the saturator is even doing anything. Oh my God. The saturator is where all the magic happens. I have that white noise playing to kind of emulate TV static. And then this TV, bro, I want to show y'all something. Let's get rid of full screen mode. And let's come here to my big drive. I have a podcast, and in my podcast, I use this thing a lot, which is just kind of like a busy signal. If you take an MP4, which is a video, and you drag it in to Ableton, it'll get rid of the video, but it'll keep the audio that's in the video. And this is just TV color bars, TV static type beat, and it gave me this. And that's what I used for these, for the TV sound. Is quite literally a fucking TV. I just threw a tuner on it and it tells you exactly what note it was playing. Originally, what note was it playing? A B. And I had it up to a C by 1 semitone. And then I also went into here. I'm sure you guys know this, but if you don't, I'll demonstrate real quick. I'm in Ableton 10. I know Ableton 11's out. I never upgraded. But in Ableton 10, you can hit this little guy and then go to the clip editor. And in the clip editor, if you select clip, you can transpose. And this is how you can transpose your audio clips. I know in a lot of MIDI clips, you can transpose through the MIDI editor or through your synth itself. But I just brought it down a full octave, 12 semitones, and you'll see it slide. Nice, nice. So again, guys, just little ear candy things that'll make your track more interesting. I like some depth. I like some complexity, you know? That's all I wanted to show you was this drop. But the second drop I do want to touch because this is a collaboration with LEELAN. And he's an incredible keys player, bro. This is how good this man is. This is what he fucking shredded. I barely had to do any quantizing. I barely had to change notes. I barely had to do anything because this kid just fucking laid it out. He's so talented, bro. And it was a pleasure to collaborate with him on this. He took my track from like a solid 8 to like a perfect 10, in my opinion. I'm not going to say a perfect 10 because I don't think any of my music's perfect. But this bitch was already bad, but he slapped makeup on it and put her in a tight dress, and now this shit is sexy, bro. But yeah, guys, that's kind of the creative process behind my most recent track, One For Me. If you got any enjoyment out of this, be sure to homicide the like button, teabag that fucking bell notification, subscribe to the channel. I hope this could have helped you in any way possible, and please go show some support to the track. I love you guys so much for just supporting my music career in general. I know I've kind of ventured off and done a lot of stuff since I originally got into music, but music is still my passion. It's still what I want to make a career out of. So it really does mean the world to me when you guys check it out. Leave it a like, stream it, share it with your friends, bro. I cannot thank you guys enough for that. And if you want to see more videos like this with my upcoming releases and the rest of the stuff that I have planned to release this year, go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment. If you learned something, leave a comment. Let me know what you learned. I might even make these like a Twitch stream, like an actual stream on Twitch, and I can answer your guys' questions as we go along and get into some more detail and stuff. So if you want to see that, be sure to hit me up. Let me know. But besides that, man, I'm sending love and positive energy your way. I'll see you guys in the next one.